Accidental calls from single dad CEO to the incorrect emergency babysitter. Arriving is the woman he has been waiting for. As the storm outside whirled over the skyline, the boardroom lights flickered slightly. With sleeves rolled up, voice cut off, Adam Walker stood at the head of a long glass table pointing toward the projection screen. Having spent months of negotiations, he was in the middle of closing a significant purchase agreement. His phone buzzed suddenly on the table. That number belonged to the nanny. He scowled, nodded briefly to excuse himself, and then walked out into the hall. "Tell me, Marlene, what it is." The speaker's voice grew terrified. "I'm sorry, Mr. Walker. I won't be able to see Mia tonight nowhere. My car broke down and I have no way getting into the city." Adam pounced the bridge of his nose. "Now you are telling me this? My daughter is sick, and I have 1 more hour left in this conference. I gave your assistant already a call. She promised to set a substitute." He hung off the line, inhaled deeply, then returned into the conference. He checked his messages, then gave his vice president instructions. One book from his assistant blinked on his screen. Found Eva, her sister, on her way now in an emergency sitter. He left the office pocketing the phone and entered the elevator with the composure of someone living in constant crisis control. 20 minutes later, he showed up at his penthouse, untied his tie, and entered the apartment in soft glow. Under a blanket, Mia was curled up on the couch, fever-flushed cheeks clutching her beloved stuffed rabbit. She peered up at him groggily. "Dad?" He stooped down next to her to sweep hair off her forehead. "Here, sweetheart, I am. You will start to feel better soon." The doorbell rang. Expecting the normal, uniformed professionalism of one of Eva's colleagues, he straightened up and walked to the door. Rather, a woman stood there soaked from the rain, hair pulled into a messy bun, carrying a small tote bag, and sporting a navy blue cardigan more appropriate for a classroom than an emergency nanny call. She, blinking water from her lashes, looked up at him. "Hi. Lil Harper is me. I received a note requesting an emergency babysitter." Adam scowled. "You are the sister of Eva?" She tilts her head. "No, Eva. I believe this would have been a mistake." The pause lasted long. Mia coughed behind him then, a weak sound that twisted his chest. He let the door open wider. "Mistake or not, right now I need help. Would you be able to stay? Solely for tonight." Lily stopped and then nodded. Naturally. She had her coat hung, shoes off, and was kneeling next to Mia on the couch within minutes, her voice soft and rhythmic as she spoke to the small child. She gently touched her temperature, helped her sip water, and whispered stories while rubbing her back. Stunned, Adam stood in the hall. Mia had fallen asleep, curled against Lily's side, by the time he got back from getting fever medicine. He turned over the medication and spoke softly. "You seem to be working from experience." Lily grinned without lifting her head. "Preschool teacher used to be my job." Pausing. Adam left out the question of why. He merely watched Lily gently move Mia onto a cushion and draw the blanket up to her chin. Later, Lily made tea she discovered in the cabinet in the kitchen, while Adam sat at the counter still trying to figure out how this stranger had calmed his daughter faster than anyone else ever had. "Again," Lily said, "I am sorry. I honestly believe the message came from a family I used to watch years ago. Simply said, 'Showed there.'" He turned his head. "You turned up when it counted." For a moment, they sat in quiet. Lily then turned to face the corridor Mia was asleep in. "She is a really lovely small child. You have to be doing something right." Adam exhaled with a lot of relief sound. "I'll try. Some days I seem to be simply existing. You are not by yourself in that." He examined her more closely and saw the weary edge to her kind eyes. "You seem rather good at this. You sure are not still a teacher?" She just gave a weak smile. "It is nuanced." He avoided pressing. But something about her presence, her steadiness, disturbed the side of him that had learned to operate without anyone. Adam Walker, CEO of Walker & Co., felt that maybe someone had entered his world and made his world somewhat less empty as the rain kept tapping against the windows. This was maybe the first time in years. The apartment was silent, the gentle buzz of the city far below muffled by double-paned glass. Lily watched Mia sleep soundly on the big couch in the softly lit hallway. Her small body curled beneath the tightly woven blanket like a comma. The fever had dropped rather modestly. Her cheeks, still pink, were not blazing now. Adam stood next to Lily carrying 2 tea mugs. Lily murmured, "She's out for the night." He produced a cup for her. She warmed her hands after thanks you accepted it. She basically needed someone to listen, and most likely some ginger tea. Adam laughed silently, rare and brief. "I should bring you on right away." Lily arched an eyebrows. "Given I showed up here by accident, that would be quite the job offer." "You showed up when nobody else did," he said simply. In the living room, they occupied opposite ends of the broad leather sofa. The city lights between them seemed limitless, glittering and untouchable. Adam slanted back and rolled his shoulders. Lily drank her tea, staring from the skyline to the picture frames on the console table. One Adam with a younger Mia, another of a woman with brilliant eyes and a soft smile. "She was lovely," Lily said quietly. Adam turned to match her gaze. His voice changed to become softer. She was exactly what it takes. There was then a protracted silence. "I'm sorry," Lily said. "2 years ago she died," he answered, not looking at the picture. "Disease? Cancer?" It was rather quick, too quick. Lily remained silent. She simply nodded, allowing the weight of the occasion to naturally settle. Adam studied the tea in his hands. "Since then, only Mia and I have been there. Nannies visit and leave. Plans change. You're trying to breathe again, and life doesn't stop." Lily tuned in, really paid close attention, not as someone curious, but rather as someone who knew the pain behind every sentence. "Get assistance here. Family is..." She sought. "Not exactly. My parents are spread out over the nation. Her folks." He lagged off. "It's challenging." Both of them looked at Mia, who was sleeping and sighed slightly. Lily muttered, "Shoes strong." Nodding, Adam said. Lily grinned, then hesitated before saying, "You're doing a good job, stronger than I had some days." Startled, he turned to face her. "You know me less than 3 hours. 3 hours is plenty time to observe your reaction to her crying. Long enough to see the world stops when she needs you." Adam's jaw tightened, emotion flickering beneath his steady gaze. Lily had something in her presence, a calmness that let one feel free to express without trying to fix everything. He said then, gently changing the topic, "Why isn't someone like you among a packed classroom?" Lily hesitated. One of my students started slowly, fingers tightly around her mug. He became injured. Though it was an accident, I kept blaming myself, even in cases when none else did. I rested. More time afterwards, nor did I ever go back. Adam avoided interrupting. He simply nodded slowly. Lily said after a protracted silence, "I think. I forgot how to be around kids without feeling terrified." He raised his head just slightly. "Tonight you did not seem terrified." She gave a small smile. Mia streamlined it. Not uncomfortably, they both stopped once more in that unusual place where 2 strangers begin to feel a little less unusual. Adam finally got up. "You can use the guest room. It comes down the hall. When someone else is close, Mia sleeps better. And I, Lily, blink, trusting you. You are correct." He nodded to her tired but honest manner. "Though I haven't sure about many things lately, this feels right." She trailed him down the hall, stopping once more to peep at the sleeping girl curled on the couch. Adam turned to glance at her. "Thank you, Lily. Tonight is great." She nodded. "I appreciate your letting me stay." Adam stood by himself momentarily, staring at the room she had just occupied as the door to the guest room clicked closed behind her. Something foreign drew at him, like the start of a question he lacked the bravery to ask. But a stranger was already transforming his world from a burden to more like home somewhere down the corridor. Quietly arriving the next morning was sunlight peeping through half-closed curtains. Already in a new suit, Adam was pacing the kitchen with his phone pressed to his ear while loading cereal into a bowl. Wearing her pajamas, Mia sat at the counter, swinging her feet and playing absently with her spoon. Lily showed up across from her in the doorway, dressed in her own clothes, basic jeans, a soft gray sweater, and her hair pulled loosely back. "Good morning," she said softly. Mia's face blushed. Miss Lily? Startled at the explosion of enthusiasm from his usually quiet daughter, Adam turned. Someone is probably glad to see you. Lily grinned and strolled over. The fever is how good is? Gone, Mia declared boldly. Pancakes are what I think of. An eyebrow was raised by Aiden. Last night you barely ate toast. Lily laughed. I had second thoughts. Would mind if I created her something? I am rather like a pancake wizard. Adam hesitated and then moved aside. Guest with me.
Minutes passed, and the kitchen smelled vanilla and cinnamon. Mia laughed as Lily deftly turned the pancakes and created stars out of blueberries. We have blueberries, I didn't know, Adam said. Lily answered, tossing him a playful glance. I found them behind a wall of protein bars. He sat at the counter and watched Mia eat the breakfast. Not even with relatives, definitely not with hired nannies. He had not seen his daughter this animated in weeks. Lily looked at Adam after finishing the dishes. I'm free should you require assistance once more today. You have no other plans? She shrugged. Not now. Adam watched her for a moment. The offer was personal somehow rather than professional. She was picking this, picking them. I would value that, he said. One more day descended into 3, then a week. Lily merged into their daily rhythm. She helped Mia practice her letters with glitter pens and way too many stickers, walked her to the park, showed her how to fold paper swans, and every night when Adam returned home, stories Mia hadn't been ready to share with anyone echoed down the hall, and laughter filled the house. Adam asked Lily to meet them at the farmer's market on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Mia held Lily's hand as they watched a little puppet show among booths of homemade jams and fresh flowers. Mia insisted on having them alternately bite a giant cinnamon roll after they bought lemonade. It felt, quite dangerously, like a real family. They lay a blanket under a tree later in the park. Mia curled up next Lily, who leaned against the trunk reading a storybook aloud. From the picnic basket, Adam watched them. His heart twisted with something both lovely and terrible. Mia lay her head on Lily's lap and murmured something as the sun started to drop. Lily stared down, shocked. And what did you say, darling? Mia repeated, somewhat louder this time. Could you be my replacement mother? The words hung there like a thin thread. Lily's eyes filled and her hand swept Mia's hair. She looked at Adam, who had frozen totally. He couldn't speak at all. Lily said, That's a very big question, Mia, smiling gently. All right, let us keep enjoying ourselves together. Mia nodded, content, and shortly fell asleep right on her lap. At last, Adam exhaled and moved across silently. Not saying anything, he sat next them and watched the two people who had silently and totally rocked his universe. He said at last, She has never spoken to anyone like that before. Lily admitted, not sure what to say. You said exactly the right thing. They sat silently, the sort of silence that no longer felt like strangers passing time. Rather, it felt like the start of something they both avoided calling for. But something had changed, and they both knew this was not transient. The next week went in a haze of well-known activities, breakfast bursting with laughter, library afternoons, evenings curled up with storybooks. From the outside, everything seemed to be a picture of delight. But Lily could feel something had changed inside Adam. Now he was slower, more subdued. When Mia held Lily's hand or flaunted a drawing they had created together, he still grinned. But he seemed to be looking at something she could not quite reach. Adam entered the living room, where Lily sat sorting coloured pencils with soft music playing in the background one evening, as Mia napped following a demanding afternoon at the aquarium. He started to clear his throat. Dinner's practically ready. You are welcome to remain should you so want. She grinned and looked up. I'd like that. But she hesitated at something in his voice. Later, Mia asleep in her room, the air between them seemed heavier than usual as they sat at the table. Lily asked, Is everything okay, Adam? Softly pushing her half-empty plate aside. He did not reply straight away. He filled a glass of water, looked at it, then remarked, This, whatever it is we have built, is beginning to feel more than I expected. Lily skipped a beat, and that presents challenges as well. She inquired silently. He tilted his head. No, but things are rather complicated. Her fingers lacing across the table, she nodded slowly. You suffer anxiety. I am afraid, he said sincerely, of allowing you inside, of Mia developing attachment, of losing everything once more. Her eyes changed. Adam, I never wanted to enter your life to replace someone. You did not, he remarked fast. That does not mean, though, that I know how to do this. I passed on someone I loved, and I have been watching Mia make sure she never experiences that kind of loss once more for 2 years. Lily said gently, You're trying to protect her, and perhaps shielding her means not allowing anyone to get close. Lily started to tighten her throat, comprising me. He responded not. The quiet was its own sort of validation. Lily stood slowly gathering her bag. I ought to leave. Lily said he started. She did, however, smile slightly, a little sad one. You are not obliged to justify. I grasp. You still have to get ready. She moved to the front door, stopped, then turned back one last time. When I showed up at your door that evening, I was not seeking a family. Still, you developed into one somehow. And I'm not sure how to distance myself from that without suffering. She went before he could respond. The apartment seemed colder without her. Mia woke up the following morning to discover Lily's shoes gone from the corridor. She glanced around perplexingly, then discovered a little folded note on the playroom table. Her small fingers opened it deliberately slowly. You are compassionate and courageous. And I shall always be thinking about you. Miss Lily loves. Mia started to cry and gripped the note to her chest. She looked up with wide, tearful eyes when Adam arrived running. Did Miss Lily go because of me? Adam knelt next to her, arms around her. No, sweetheart. I was the reason she left. And he understood something terrible and unambiguous for the first time in a long time. He had erected walls so tall around his heart that even love could not find her way in. And now he had turned away the one person who had helped him to feel once again acceptable. Days passed. 1 week from then, the apartment was more quiet, too peaceful. After the third night, Mia stopped seeking Lily. But while she thought no one was watching, she carried the little note about like a talisman in her small hands. Guilt chewing at him like rust, Adam watched her. He still packed her lunch, got her dropped off at preschool, got back to his meetings like nothing had changed, but everything had. She woke early. After a particularly dead conference, Adam sat at his desk one afternoon staring at a coffee cup Lily had once left on the shelf. A basic ceramic one featuring small sunflowers. She had mentioned it made her think of something pleasant, something she omitted. His chest tightened. I made a mistake, he mumbled under his breath. He grabbed his phone without thinking and scrolled through contact after contact until he came upon a known number. She had never given Lily's, not her. But the sitter's response he had received weeks ago seemed inadequate. This time he asked straightforwardly, Do you know where Lily Harper is? The other end stopped as well. Then a reluctant voice remarked, She part-time volunteers at Maple and Bloom Books downtown. There occasionally she works with children. Heart thumping, Adam stood outside the little bookshop sandwiched between a bakery and a floral shop that evening. He caught her through the front window. Lily sat in the reading circle cross-legged on a rug, surrounded by a small gathering of kids. She turned from a brilliantly illustrated book, and her eyes gleamed. Her voice sprang alive and vibrant. She laughed, gestured broadly, and the children laughed too. Adam found himself unable to move. She glanced so... herself. Alive in a way she hadn't been in when she'd left. She got up to hug a small girl farewell before gathering the strewn books when the reading session finished. Her eyes locked with his across the glass as she turned toward the front of the shop. She halted. With hands in his coat pockets, Adam moved slowly inside. Hi, he said gently. Lily seemed dubious and guarded. Hello? I came here not to ask you to come back, he said. She turned her head and I just wanted to say thanks. For what? For offering me something I couldn't have. for providing me with something I never knew I needed. Lily turned her head down. You made it plain you weren't ready. I was not, he said, but losing you made me realize if I keep living in fear, I might never be ready. She crossed her arms, but her look softened. Adam, you are real in your fearing, but love is also like this. Drawing something from his pocket, he moved closer. It was a bracelet with brilliant plastic beads arranged haphazardly around the MIA letter centre. She made this for you the evening you left. She buried it under her cushion. This morning I came upon it. Lily reached out and grabbed it. Her fingers shook. He said, She misses you. One of us does. I miss her too, Lily murmured. Then long pause. And I miss you. The glistened eyes of Adam reflected Lily. I don't want to act as though I have everything figured out. I am aware of this, though. Everything felt like when you left. Empty is the result. He let out a slow, exhaled voice that cracked just enough to expose the man behind the CEO. I want to try. With you, with MIA, as a family. None of walls, none of hiding. She raised her head, hope flickering like morning behind her eyes. She said, I cannot promise I won't be terrified. I do not want perfection, he said. I just want real. She grinned then, soft and steady, then moved into his arms. Adam knew he had just been given another chance as he held her tightly, the bracelet pressed between their palms. And he would not be letting go this time. Lily did not right away move back in. She began to show up once more, though quietly, like a melody gently returning to a long-forgotten song. She arrived in the mornings before preschool, always mismatched for a purpose, helped MIA choose her socks, and packed little handwritten notes inside her lunchbox. They occasionally urged things like, be brave today, or remember, sunshine starts with you. MIA loved them, and Adam did as well, even though he never expressed it clearly. Their rhythm came back, not hurried but steady. Pancake Saturdays came back, giggles ringing through the kitchen and flour on nose. Movie evenings got back underway, Lily curled on one side of the couch, MIA in the middle, and Adam on the other, their fingers brushing over shared popcorn. Once silent, the apartment now seemed lived in again. It smelled cinnamon and warmth, crayons and laughter. One evening, after MIA had fallen asleep, mid-sentence during a bedtime narrative, Adam walked out to discover Lily seated on the couch, turning through a stack of the child's drawings. Lily said, holding up one, She made these today. I seem to be a superhero supervising teacher lady. Laughing, Adam sat next her staring at the picture. Lily's stick figure form sported a brilliant pink cape with MIA and Adam on either side. She's not mistaken, he said, his voice gentle. Lily took a long look at the picture, then set it on the table. I've been considering returning to the classroom. Adam looked at her with actual surprise. You poised? She acknowledged my fear. Yes, I do believe I am. He stretched out and grabbed her hand, his thumb drawing little circles over her knuckles. As much as we did, I believe the classroom has been missing you. Real one. She grinned and leaned on his shoulder. I remembered who I used to be, maybe who I still am the day you showed up at the bookstore. You are far more, he murmured. For a time, they sat like that, the silence between them full rather than empty. Adam invited Lily somewhere unusual later that week. She said yes without asking questions when he brought up the cemetery, although she hesitated. They moved across the peaceful grounds lined with trees until he stopped at a small headstone. Emily Walker, loved mother and wife. Lily stood next him, weight of memory hovering around. She was lovely, Adam remarked, really brilliant. She brought this place to feel like a house. Losing her felt as though the earth had suddenly veered off its axis. He exhaled, the cool air clearly visible between his sentences. I believed for a long time that loving again would be betrayal. I would be letting her go forward too. Lily glanced up at him, eyes soft. But you proved to me that hearts are not graves. They are capable of carrying several loves. They can flourish. They remember and still welcome something fresh. She extended her hand toward his. "I'll never try to replace Lily," she said quietly. "I don't want you to," he said. "You should be just exactly who you are." They bent over and set one sunflower next to the headstone. Lily's conception. "She would have like you," Adam said. "I hope so," Lily said softly. Their fingers entwined naturally on the return trip to the car. Though small and not dramatic, it was real. Two people were deciding to start over from the broken places they had gently healed together, rather than from nothing. And from that decision, love did not resurface. It came home just like that. Spring arrived with gentle mornings and golden afternoons, and with it came something quite near to peace. Just a few blocks from Adam's apartment, Lily had formally accepted a part-time teaching post at a local preschool. Their steps in time, their laughter resonating through still streets, she now strolled Mia to school. Though the way his eyes stayed on Lily said differently, some days Adam would meet them on the way back, coffee in hand, acting he had no ulterior motive beyond caffeine. Mia arrived home one Thursday afternoon, carrying a golden certificate tightly in her little hand. "Look," she beaming, "I was student of the month." Rising her in the air, Adam spun her slowly. "That's fantastic, sweetheart." Lily was standing by and clapping fervently. "You have been a really good listener and to your friends quite gentle. Naturally, they chose you." Mia had glitter in her eyes. "We are doing a ceremony. Would you both show up?" Adam said, not missing it for the world. Mia stood on stage with her classmates before a small assembly of parents and teachers on the day of the ceremony. She smiled so broadly when she saw Adam and Lily seated side by side in the front row. Her cheeks puffed up. She hurried straight to them after the cheers, throwing her arms around both. She murmured, "I'm so glad you're both here." After dinner and cupcakes and a living room dance party later that evening, Adam put Mia to bed. She held her stuffed bunny and murmured, "I hope Miss Lily stays always." He planted a kiss on her forehead. The weight of her comments barely felt on his chest. "Me too, darling girl." Lily was folding laundry and softly singing to herself when he got back to the living room. He watched her for a protracted length before moving forward. "You now permeate every aspect of this place," he said. She looked up, flushed in the cheeks. He grinned, and I hoped that was okay. "More than good," he hesitated, then added, "Friday's dinner will be with you, just us. No toys, no TV, just a real dinner." Lily blinked. "Mr. Walker, are you asking on a date?" He grinned. She grinned. "I think I am." "Then I would dearly want to." Friday night came, and Adam had exceeded expectations. He set the table with candles, tried cooking, and wore a navy button-down. Lily gently rescued the dinner from total catastrophe, while Mia sat in her designated booster seat, calling the pasta elegant, and insisted on toasting with her apple juice. "For us," she said boldly, "our family." Emotion building between them, Adam and Lily looked across flickering candlelight. Driven by the cool air and city lights, Lily emerged onto the balcony after Mia turned in for night. Adam came second. "She's glad," Lily remarked. Adam said, "She's happy because of you." Lily gave a shake of her head. We were the reason Adam turned to her. "Lily, you have fundamentally altered everything. You returned colour to our planet." He reached into his pocket to get a little velvet box. Lily hesitated. "I'm not asking for eternity tonight," Adam said fast. Opening it reveals a straightforward, elegant gold ring set with one diamond. Yes to now, to waking here, to pancakes, to books on the floor, to all of it with me. Tears flowed in Lily's eyes. "Yes," she whispered 1,000,000 times. "Indeed." From the corridor, a lazy voice called, "Pancakes! Someone mentioned them." They both laughed, and Adam turned to Lily and set the ring on her finger with a look so full of subdued love that the stars might have started to weep. And there were no missing bits at that instant. Not one ghost, nothing like what-ifs, just them collectively and more than plenty. 1 year later, sunlight poured through Brooklyn's peaceful gardens trees behind a brick townhouse. White chairs stacked along a small cobblestone walk, petals strewn beneath foot, little laughter bubbling softly around here. The backyard wedding was little but private. Just a few close friends, some co-workers, Mia, who had announced herself as boss of everything, flower girl, ring bearer, also here. At the end of the road, Lily stood in a soft ivory dress, classic and understated. Mia was clinging to one hand, a bouquet in the other, her eyes glistening as she met Adam's beneath a canopy of white blossoms. Lily arrived, and Adam grabbed both of her hands in his. He said, voice friendly, "You stumbled into my life by mistake. But the most deliberate action I have ever taken has been loving you." As Lily answered, her voice shook. "I never knew I could call home someone else's arms. But you and Mia? I never dared to dream of home like yours." The officiant grinned and said, "I now pronounce you husband and wife from the power vested in me." Mia yelled, "You can kiss her now," before he could say anything else. Everyone laughed. Adam did as well. Mia flung petals like confetti into the air, soft and definite from their kiss. The reception that followed was likewise quite basic. Mia helped to arrange unevenly folding chairs, fairy lights, mason jars with lemonade and a chocolate cake, press releases, grand balls, no spotlight, none of which existed here. Straight love. 1 year later, the front window of a little corner store, the Sunflower Library, children's books and community classes, read, "Inside Lily was behind a table helping a small group of children through a craft project. Rolling across the table were crayons. Every wall had storybooks stacked there." Adam was also reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar to a group of toddlers in the rear room, who hung on each word. A small lad with dark curly hair and wide eyes sat at his feet. Theo, not exactly 2, with Adam's curiosity and Lily's nose. Now a confident 6-year-old, Mia sat close to Theo reading aloud when his brother finished. She told him matter-of-factly, "You will be a major reader just like me." A sleek black car drew up in front of the store one Saturday afternoon. Out came Margaret Walker and Charles, the parents of Adam. Time had softened them, even though they had stayed far from his early struggles. Inside, Mia hurried to the door. "Grandma, Grandpa, want to see Theo once more?" They came in hesitant but smiling, and Lily gently handed Theo over. Uncertain, Adam's father held the lad awkwardly. Theo reached for his tie and laughed. The old man's face split open. He dropped down to see his grandson, then raised his head toward Adam. He said, "You have created something decent here." Adam gave a simple nod. "I got assistance." Adam sat on the back steps of the shop, Lily leaning against his shoulder, Theo asleep in her arms, later that evening as the sun sank beneath the brownstones. "You recall the evening we met?" she asked. "You mean the mix-up in the emergency babysitter?" He made jokes. She gave him a prod. That resembled anarchy. Best anarchy of my life. Silent as they watched the garden's fireflies blink, Lily said, "I used to think family had to look a certain way, but today I know it's simply love. It has only ever been that." Adam planted a kiss on her head's top point. "And this is the sort I never felt I deserved." Theo stirred, and Lily hummed softly to calm him once more. Inside, Mia set books on a shelf marked Staff Picks by Mia Walker. How Families Are Made was one of the titles, not based on blood but rather by showing up, by remain, by loving, even if it is difficult. And under a painted sign saying, "You belong here," the messy, noisy, imperfect Walker family had discovered everything they had ever needed, one another. "We appreciate you travelling this emotional road with us." Adam, Lily, Mia and little Theo reminded us that family is about the people who choose to stay, love, and create something real out of unanticipated events, not about perfect beginnings. Sometimes the correct person results from a wrong number, and occasionally, love finds us exactly when we most need it, although least expected. We invite you to subscribe to soul-stirring stories if this narrative moved you, made you smile, or stirred something deep inside of you. Every week we bring fresh stories of love, healing, fortitude, and the quiet magic of human connection. Click that subscribe button to enable us to continuously touch your soul one story at a time.